SMB Mobile Gaming Benedetta Tutorial Item Builds and Emblems. Hello everyone and welcome in this another episode of Mobile Legends Hero Tutorial Tips and Tricks. For today's episode, we will be featuring one of the best assassins that has no manners. Manners, there's no place for manners. Anyway, what makes Beneditta so powerful is because of his dash skills, which makes her difficult to kill. Indeed, a combination of high survivability and high damage output. That's why Beneditta is banned most of the time in the ranked matches. Aside from that, Beneditta is easy to use and easy to master. By the way, this tutorial is only intended for players who wants to improve their Beneditta gameplay and performance. If you are one of those players, finish the whole video and I promise you that your Beneditta gameplay will never be the same. Without further ado, let's begin. Before we will dive into Beneditta's powerful combos, let us study its skills and abilities first. Basically, this passive skill will allow Beneditta to slash and dash forward in the direction she's facing and dealing damage to enemies. The skill is initiated by holding the basic attack button, then releasing it after the sword icon above is fully charged. You can gain the charge by holding the basic attack button or by dealing damage to enemies through basic attacks and damage through skills. Later on this video, you will learn the proper way of using passive skill and when to use depending on different scenarios. With skill number 1, Beneditta creates a shadow which slashes enemies in front in dealing damage and slows enemies by 60% of half a second. After a short period, Beneditta then also slashes in front, dealing another physical damage to enemies. Take note that when the shadow hits the target, Beneditta's slash will deal higher damage output. For this reason, proper aiming of the skill is crucial in order to deal more damage to enemies. With skill number 2, Beneditta goes to a defensive state which gains crowd control and damage immunity for 0.8 seconds. After this, Beneditta stabs and dashes forward in the designated direction, dealing physical damage to enemies. Take note that when Beneditta successfully blocks any damage while a defensive state, the sword icon then fully charges, and Beneditta blocks any crowd effects. Her stab will stun the target for 1.5 seconds. Take note that the stun will only affect if she successfully hits the enemy with her stab. The second skill will definitely be your best friend to escape enemies, to initiate traps and do counter attacks. This will be tackled later in this video. With her ultimate skill, Beneditta slashes forward and slowing all enemies on the path by 70% for 1 second after dashing. Beneditta creates a path which lasts for 2.5 seconds in dealing damage and slowing enemies by 20% over 0.2 seconds, then fully recharges the sword icon. The sword icon continues to recharge whenever an enemy is continuously taking damage from your ultimate. Not that we are already knowledgeable about Beneditta's skills and abilities, let us now dive into its powerful combos. This combo is best used to clear minions and to harass enemies, especially on the early game. To perform this correctly, your first skill should hit at least 2 enemies including your target. In order for you to dash away from your enemy and avoid taking serious damage, I seldomly use the second skill to dash away and prefer to serve the second skill on more serious escaping situation. since it takes a longer time to cool down. Here's a tip on how to clear minions with using this combo. So we have to aim diagonally and hit all minions. This combo is best used for you to easily reach any long-range enemies, such as marksman or mages during a clash. You can then use execute if you think you can kill your enemy. I usually do these combos whenever I do some tower dives and planning to kill enemies with low HP. Again, I only use this if my target has low HP and for a guaranteed kill. I do not 100% recommend this one, especially when you are practicing, because it's quite risky. So this is my combo on close range combat. As you can see, Benedetta combo is just plain and simple, but very powerful. The only crucial pass is when to use the combo, and perfect aiming in order for you to deal enormous damage to your targets. Counter-attack is best used against heroes that has very predictable skills. A great example for this is Guinevere's second skill. In order to successfully land a perfect counter-attack, you need performing in blocking your target crowd control skills. You may then release your combo and then successfully blocking and stunning your target. Again, you can only deal stun to enemies if you are successfully block and crowd control skills. 2. Hits your target with second skill after a successful crowd control block. And here are some of the heroes that are prone to counter-attacks. By the way, if you are learning and so far from this video, please don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you won't miss our upcoming videos, tutorials, and gameplays. There are more tips that will definitely improve your Benedetta gameplay. Don't worry about using your ultimate skill against jungle buff monsters, since Benedetta ultimate has a fast cooldown I should say. And you will receive laser damage from jungle monsters. Having charging attack does not mean that you don't need to use normal attacks. In fact, you need to utilize your normal attacks in order to deal high damage output depending on different scenarios. Here is the wrong way in dealing damage to enemies with charging basic attack. As you can see, in the same span of time, you were able to deliver more damage using this technique. Amazing, right? So these are my item builds and endgames. You may now watch my Benedetta gameplay on the next video. Before I will end this video, let me elaborate what Benedetta said. When the body suffers, the spirit blooms. As you are using and practicing Benedetta, is it for sure that you will be making mistakes and will be suffering from losses. But as what Benedetta said, that it's not the total loss for you. Why? Because in every losses and mistakes you made, you are learning and you are gaining experience from your previous matches. This will be your pathway to mastery. I hope you learned a lot and I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks so much for watching this video, and always remember that you are amazing. Here's the part 2 of our Benedetta video. Sideline tips from the champion Benedetta of Edward from NPL games. So I do suggest that if you want to learn and you want to gain more knowledge about playing this, you can watch their gameplays and their So before we get started, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. It's a big help for the YouTube channel algorithm. If you have tips for those who are just starting to use Benedetta, comment down below, and here's the timestamp. So Benedetta passive is one of the key factor of his mechanics. So we'll focus on this one. Unlike other heroes, you can charge Benedetta normal attack to dash. It will inflict damage to enemies along the way. What's good about this is it's considered blood dust. Yeah, so for every dash you get the, and for every time you land a normal attack, skill hits add up. And this is the common mistake of the first time Benedetta users. They continue to charge without using the normal attack. Extra damage get wasted, then they didn't use a normal attack. For every normal attack damage, skill number 1 and skill number 2 equals to almost 1/3 of the charge attack. So even if you hold the normal attack, just land 3 normal attacks, you'll still get to fill up the bar for the charge attack. Same thing happens if your skill lands on 3 targets. When you use your ultimate, it automatically fills up your charge attack. Instead of ultimate plus first skill combo, you will inflict higher damage if you use ultimate plus charge attack. Then go for the first skill. So here are Karthus charges up Benedetta in order to choose Baxia. After doing a side step, it is within Beneditta's skill range. Karthus stop charging up and then use skill number 1. Next, did a normal attack to fill up the bar. And finally, went for the charge attack and cooldown. Instead of charging up while roaming around, Karthus did 3 normal attacks. Once the charge bar was full, he went for the charge attack. And skill number 2 to go after Baxia. So skill number 1 to fill up the bars again. And did another normal attack, then went for another charge attack. Kalski may not be successful in slaying Baxia, it was the best example to show how you can maximize Beneditta's damage. Of course, there are still times when you need to take advantage of the charge attack. Most efficiently, if you are the one chasing the enemies, these are the things you need to remember. Once you use your ultimate, automatically make use the bars full of your charge attack. After using ultimate, use your charge attack to reach a good spot, and then use skill number 1, just like Karski did here. Charge attack, and charge attack again. So second, you need to remember on maximizing the charge attack. Your stack should hit at least 3 or more units, so the bars will be full again. If your stacks didn't full, you may just use the ult to maximize skill, just like what he did here. Skill tips. Since you already know the core of Beneditta, let's do a quick run through on Benedetta skills. Skill number 1 will be your main source of damage. Higher damage if your target is in the middle of the indicator. The enemy will receive higher damage compared to those who are just around the indicator like this. So double dash and charge. So with skill number 2 is a dash with immunity against damage and crowd control. So please take note that once you're hit with any damage while casting your skill number 2, the bars for the charge attack will be full, just like what he did here. If you get hit with CC while casting skill number 2, ultimate is a continuous damage and will slow down enemies once they stun. So you'll get to continually fill up the bars for the charge attack. So side lane rule. Because of Beneditta's higher mobility and fast wave clear, its main job is to cut lanes to make it passive, and then go for a favorable dash or to objectives. And here it would cut the bottom lane. Then the team invades. Since Alice was still defending at the bottom lane, the clash was 4v5. That's why Execution did not fight. With that, Backlist got the purple buff and the turtle. It was just a simple act of, yet make a big impact on the game. Since you've already known the importance of cutting lanes, let's now learn cut timers. The easiest way to locate where the minions are at your targeted lane is to look for your team's minions on the opposite lane, and since they are mirrored, if you're to cut to the bottom lane, look out where your team's minions are on the top lane. Same goes when your target is on the top lane. Check out the bottom lane. And to make it easier, let's time it. If you're just going for a basic cut, before the time reaches 0.25 or 25 seconds, you are going for a risker, cut, and so on. Before the time reaches 0.15 or 0.45, you must already in your position. Just tip to do this kind of cut if you know the enemy's jungler is on the other side. And if you are a bold cut, you should be in position at 0.10 or 0.40. What's good about this is you also get cut mid lane minions, and this move is high risk. Since you're already at the enemy base, you can do this during late games. Since you already have the items to sustain, now that you already know how to cut lanes, what should you do after? Here comes in the Natalia gameplay. Just like when you're using Natalia, just roam around the jungle. Look for the core, delaying its movements. You may steal his farm jungles like this. And you may just scare the jungles away if the jungler won't get buff. Just like what Edward did here. After he got the lane, he then guarded the purple buff so Cloudy wouldn't have it.